Mining is one of the 8 core skills in Hypixel Skyblock, and whether on an Iron Man profile or not, it is one of the best ways to make money. Because of that, progression in this skill is invaluable. And as an Iron Man player with not much done in mining, this skill is absolutely crucial for progression, as it generates the money that is so crucial for other parts of the game. There's just one small issue. Despite making an on-par intro, I am aghast at the quality of the rest of the video. Everything is wrong. It's late, it has outdated footage, the microphone is entirely different for half the video. So what I'm saying is, when the mic changes, use headphones, and try to enjoy. That's all. Let's get this started. Now, to start off, I would like to begin by getting Heart of the Mountain 8. This is because at Heart of the Mountain 8, I can unlock a perk known as Miner's Blessing, which grants 30 extra magic find on all mining islands. Why would I need so much magic find? Well, as it turns out, the armadillo pet that I've been using is not a very good mining pet, and I would do very well to replace it with something better, like a battle pet. And who wouldn't want all the magic find they can get if they realize that the drop chance for one of these things is 1 in 5,000. But as it turns out, I underestimated the true scale of the grind, and I spent an entire week trying to get this level. But hey, don't call me a no-life, call these guys no-lifes, because, you know, they gotta be lying, right? Now, my original intention was to get a battle pet before going on Nucleus runs, but I don't got the patience, and I might as well show you how it works. To complete a Nucleus run, one has to complete 5 different quests, one for each of the regions. There's a parkour challenge inside the Jungle Temple, a quest to get revenge on the Goblin Queen, helping Professor Robot, a metal detector search inside the mines of Devon, and finally, going underground to beat up this thing called Bal. If you have a really weak bow like I do, this can take up to 5 minutes just to kill this thing. Once you finish all 5 quests, you can take all these crystals that you just got, plug them into the crystal nucleus, and get absolutely nothing. Or you can get lucky and this happens. Well, that's the nature of the beast for you. I tried this again and I got nothing near that good. Now, as I told you before, the reason I'm doing these nucleus runs is to get materials required for mining gear, specifically the armor of Devon, which is very expensive, and I do not have the ability to acquire it right now. But the good thing is, I think I know how to fix that. You see, right now I'm using a mithril drill, which is very good for collecting a lot of mithril and very bad for doing anything else. However, if I switch it out for a titanium drill, then I'll be able to mine everything well. Unfortunately, the crafting recipe for this thing is long, complicated, and expensive. So I'll do everyone a favor by announcing that I already have most of the materials for my powder grind and from my minions. The only thing I'm really missing is a bunch of these glaciite jewels, which are dropped from glaciite walkers. So it's time to get hunting. A healthy bit of killing later, I took these glaciite jewels to the forge and started forging up some golden plates, which is where I ran into one of the most annoying parts about mining. You see, forging an item is not the same as crafting it. While crafting an item is instantaneous, forging an item can take many hours or even days. So in the meantime, I'll do some side quests, like attending Fallen Star meetings and waging war against sentries, as well as upgrading our equipment and doing even more commissions. So now, after a week of grinding, I had obtained Heart of the Mountain 8, and I still don't have the drill. But that's alright, because you don't need a good drill to do Nucleus runs. And now with 30 extra magic find, I should be able to also get the battle pet during this time. And what better way to spend my time than getting a ton of these pickaxes that break after a few uses. But let me just say, to all those magic find disbelievers out there, you're wrong and I'm right. Because after a mere 3 runs of getting that upgrade, I got my battle pet. Epic rarity, of course. After getting nothing else interesting on that run, I went back to my island and began leveling up my pet. Now, the reason I was being so hasty with this is because Mayor Cole was about to enter office, and along with him, mining fiestas, which are events in which all mining drops are doubled, and as such, they will drastically speed up my progression. There's just one slight issue with that plan, and that is that I don't have anything to mine with, because my drill has not been forged yet. And with Cole less than a day away, there was not much I could do except keep on doing Nucleus runs, and hope my forge makes it. Oh yeah, and remember those 5 quests I told you about? Well, despite rolling in robot parts and goblin eggs ever since my powder grind, and despite 2 of these quests not even requiring any resources, I still somehow managed to run out of jungle keys and had to get some more. Now, there are 2 ways that I could get jungle keys. I could either spend all my precious sludge juice at Odawa, or I could run around the jungle for 35 minutes trying to find the key guardian that drops it. Once I had finally found the key guardian, I immediately died to the tribe. But don't worry, once I found my way back, the power cut out. And once I'd found another key guardian, my internet decided to join in on the fun as well. And a few key guardians later, Cole came into office. Fortunately for me, however, I miscalculated, and despite Cole being mayor, the actual mining fiesta is still well away, which gives me just enough time to finish forging. And I suppose I should explain to you why this titanium drill is better. The titanium drill is superior to both the mithril and gemstone drills in 3 stats. Mining speed, which lets me mine faster, mining fortune, which gives me more drops, and most importantly, pristine, a rather complex enchantment that basically grants me a chance to get 80 times as many drops. Now, pristine only works on gemstones, but fortunately, that's exactly what I'm mining. so I need to get my stat as high as possible. Now, I have two main ways to do this. Number one is to add topaz into my Yogg armor, as you can see here. The other way is to get an enchant known as Prismatic, which grants 0.5 pristine every level. Now, since the crafting recipe for Prismatic requires topaz, when the fiesta started, I immediately went down to the magma fields to mine some topaz. Oh. Somehow, I managed to forget that even though every other major gemstone in the Crystal Hollows requires breaking power level 7, Topaz is the only gemstone of the 5 to require breaking power level 8, meaning that my new drill could not mine it. At this point, I was panicking. The upgraded version of my drill can break Topaz, but unfortunately, I didn't have the materials to make it. And while I could have reforged my pickaxe with Glacial to get more breaking power, forging the Pocket Iceberg would take 6 hours, and the fiesta would be over by then. Fortunately, I am very smart, and I realized that the pickaxe ability Maniac Miner grants extra breaking power. So while my topaz mining was not as consistent as I would have liked, I at least got to mine some topaz. And about an hour later, the profits were not looking too good. But having learned from my mistake, I immediately stoked up my forge and began prepping for the next fiesta. So by the time I showed up to the next fiesta, late as usual, I was able to get the 455, and what an improvement it is to finally be able to mine consistently again. After obtaining mining 54, I used the topaz I had gained throughout the fiesta to upgrade my drill from Prismatic 1 to Prismatic 3, and by this point my battle pet was of a high enough level in which I can remove the mining EXP boost I had put on it and replace it with something better, like a bejeweled collar. And I should probably upgrade the rarity as well, since it increases pristine inside the magma fields, as well as having this super powerful perk of decreasing my pickaxe ability cooldown. However, I don't seem to have enough Yoggis for it, so I guess I'm killing these things again. And when fighting Bal, make sure to stock up on arrows, because there is something very disturbing about hitting it with the sword. 10 days of waiting time, who do you think I am? After getting my Bal pet back, I decided to make a completely new compactor just for gemstones, so I could be as prepared as possible for the next fiesta. And then I missed it, and with no more mining fiestas to attend, I began working on something else, such as filling my forge with gemstone mixtures. Oh, that's not great. You can't make a gemstone mixture if you're already out of gemstones. And since I don't really want to mine gemstones outside of a fiesta, I'm going to do Nucleus runs, because they give a reasonable amount of gemstones as well. That's not what I was expecting to get. Okay, thank you. Now, because I didn't want to waste a quick claw on a Bal pet, I never applied it. Yes, I'm aware of the new update. No, I'm still not going to use my quick claw, so stop asking. Alright, break time's over. Gemstone on the drill, and let's begin our montage. Ooh, a claw fossil. Don't mind if I do. Now, if you don't know, a claw fossil is required to make the mole pet. A pet whose perks specifically buff Nucleus runs and will allow me to get extra drops. However, just like every other item in this video, to turn the claw fossil into the mole pet, I will need to go back to the forge and wait 3 days. So while we wait, let's do something useful. Now, as experienced players would already know, I'm not doing Nucleus runs just for the gems. Instead, my goal is to get 24 Devon fragments in order to forge the armor of Devon. But aside from Devon fragments, the armor of Devon also requires 2 other ingredients, 10 gemstone mixtures each, which I'm already starting to make, and 1 flawless ruby gemstone apiece. And even though 4 flawless gemstones should not take that long, I'm disappointed to say this took way longer than I expected, mostly because my game suddenly looked like this. Don't we all just love this game? Once the game returned from its therapy session, I went back to the Crystal Hollows and finished up all the rubies. Turns out, those 4 flawless gemstones took me over an hour to complete. And by this time, I had realized that even if I crafted the armor of Devon, the best mining set in the entire game, it would not help me in the slightest if I kept on using my primitive drill. Now, upgrading my 455 to a 555 will require a lot of resources. However, I'm only concerned about the last one. 20 plasma is difficult to get for many reasons, the most important of which is that plasma is not dropped from mining. Instead, it is a combat drop with an incredibly low drop chance from killing ghosts inside the dwarven mines. For those of you who do not know what a ghost is, it is a mob with 1 million health that deals 1000 damage and 100 true damage to everything nearby. While I'm not concerned about the damage that they deal, the 1 million health means that my livid dagger does nothing but cosmetic damage against them. So let's fix that. First, I will upgrade the Lonesome Miner perk, which grants extra combat stats on mining islands. Next, I will chuck my Shadow Assassin armor in favor of Mastiff armor. Why? Because Lonesome Miner buffs 4 different combat stats. While my Shadow Assassin and Livid Dagger would only benefit from crit damage and strength, with Mastiff armor and Pooch Sword, my damage will also increase with the amount of health I get, and the end result is that I deal twice as much damage. Much better. But even though I can kill a ghost in just 3 hits, a drop chance of 1 in 1000 means that 20 plasma is still going to take multiple hours. So let's better start now. Before anyone asks, I have no idea why my sword is not moving, but 2 hours and 20 plasma later, I'm done. Now, I would be ready to upgrade my drill right now if I didn't miscount my golden plates and need more glaciite jewels. Again. A very short 2-day nap later, I collected my new mole pet and upgraded my drill. After retrieving my drill from the forge, I placed a jade gemstone into it and immediately put it back into storage. Because after collecting both my minions and commission milestones in order to level up my mole pet, it's time for more Nucleus runs. And there we go! After successfully obtaining all 24 Devon fragments, I completed another Nucleus run just for fun. And I was very disappointed, as always. But I don't have much time to brood on this, because even though I have all the materials necessary to forge the armor of Devon, that does not mean I'm finished. This is because I still need to forge the wrong item. Okay. But as I was saying, I am not ready for Devon's armor just yet. While I kill Corleone, let me try to explain. You see, in plain form, the armor of Devon actually has some pretty mediocre stats. What makes it so powerful is the 5 gemstone slots on each piece. These gemstone slots give a crap ton of extra stats, from mining speed to mining fortune, and yes, pristine. However, on the armor of Devon, these slots are locked, meaning that you cannot place gemstones inside of them. But the thing is, earlier in this video, you've already seen me unlock gemstone slots, so it can't be that expensive, right? Well, the thing is, the gemstone slots on the armor of Devon do not have the traditional unlock cost of a few gemstones and some coins. Instead, it requires a gemstone chamber, which is an item that would have been incredibly cheap to make if it didn't cost 100 worm membranes. Now, by themselves, worm membranes are not hard to get. The issue is, the mobs that drop it are sea creatures, meaning you gotta go fishing. And believe it or not, the Crystal Hollows is not a fishing island. It is a mining island that has very little water. And as such, it took me a full half an hour just to find a water spot. But my problems aren't even over, because as it turns out, these worms are actually quite rare, and fishing normally would take valuable time that I cannot spare. But fortunately, there is a bait designed for this exact purpose. By using worm bait, I can no longer catch anything other than worms, and so I will no longer have to deal with the random sea creatures that take my lure instead. And so I was prepared to continue the cycle of more worms to more membranes to more bait to more worms. And then the lobby closed, and I couldn't find another fishing spot. By this point, I was starting to get concerned, because as I've said before, without its gemstones, Devon's armor is not better than my Yogg armor. So instead, I decided to upgrade my drill again. The easy thing is that the last drill in the titanium drill series is basically made of the exact same stuff. And usually by this time, people start complaining about Corleonite, and how difficult it is to find the mob that drops it. But I don't need to deal with that, because I killed Boss Corleone every single time I spot him. Take your opportunities when you can get them. Public service announcement aside, after taking some rubies from a route that I did not make, I went into the Dwarven Mines, put my materials into the forge, and made my new drill. And no, I will not be telling you how many times I called this place a fridge in voiceover. Just like the other times, the first thing I want to do is unlock the new gemstone slot. Oh dear, okay, maybe I won't. You know what? Let's try worm fishing again. Now, I'm sure that someone in the comments is going to be very pissed that I fished up the wrong kind of worm. Now yes, lava worms do give a lot more worm membrane. So why am I not catching lava worms? Well, it's because I don't have a lava fishing rod, and I can't craft one because that would require materials from mobs that I can't catch yet. But fortunately, with the addition of hotspot sea creatures, those same materials became available to me again, which means that I can finally craft my lava rod. Now, to actually fish up lava worms, one must find lava inside the precursor remnants, which is easier said than done. So if you manage to find one, you should always invite all of your friends. You can joke and talk and loot share and catch so many worms that you crash the lobby. But because my luck is always perfect, there is another problem. Because there's a fiesta that's coming up alarmingly soon, getting all the worm membrane I need and forging up the gemstone chambers would take much too long. Instead, and at long last, I threw the materials needed for Devon's armor into the forge. But why would I need Devon's armor? Didn't I say twice that unupgraded Devon is not better than my Yogg? Well, yes, that's true, but that's not the whole story. The reason that unupgraded Devon is worse than Yogg armor is because it lacks a topaz gemstone slot. This means that you have much less pristine, which in turn results in less drops. But after I applied some jade rolls that I got from those Nucleus runs, I took the 400 worm membranes that I just got and used it to forge up 4 gemstone chambers. After they were done, I used them to unlock specifically the topaz slot on each of my Devon pieces, which means that after applying topaz into the gemstone slots, the armor of Devon is now my best mining set. And after a bit of torture, mining amber, I unlocked the final slot in my drill and applied a flawless topaz gemstone. So now, at least I look somewhat fiesta ready, and just in time, because a fiesta is about to begin. And I'll be honest, I have no clue what I'm doing. But even if I did, since my main goal for this fiesta was to gain all the gemstones I need to make all my gemstone mixtures, all I really managed to do was upgrade my drill with better gemstones and an amber power scroll. Well, that brings back memories. Next fiesta, and I did this without realizing you don't need topazes for gemstone mixtures. But it all works out because I was able to use those gemstones to upgrade the topaz in my armor. Another fiesta later, and I applied a Sunnyside Goblin Omelet onto my drill, which grants 50 extra mining fortune. Progression is going fast. Except that was the last mining fiesta. Now, even though that is usually a bad thing, this break is actually perfect for me because it gives me just enough breathing room to finish my worm fishing. Oh, and if you've never been inside a Crystal Hollows lobby as it was closing, it's terrifying. And sometimes you really just gotta slow down. You might discover some new stuff. For example, did you know that there is a secret room inside this giant lava ball? I didn't. Oh, hi there. Do you have a warrant? Well, that was unexpected. Come on, Zach, open wide. We're feeding you presents. I think we've lost the plot. Let's go back to real mining and apply 5 silexes onto my drill to increase its efficiency level. Wait, what? Huh? Am my mining even slower now? I have so many questions about what happened here. Don't worry, he'll probably be able to kill it in the next 2 hours. So anyways, after my worm fishing session, I forged up 4 more gemstone chambers, which I immediately used to put a jade gemstone in all of my divan pieces. And I did this because of jade's mining fortune, which generally is way better than amber's worthless mining speed. Wait, what? There's a fiesta going on right now? Since when? After mining out some topaz and ruby gemstones, I upgraded my talisman of power to an artifact of power. Because if you didn't know, applying gemstones onto this artifact can actually grant some pretty good stats, such as pristine. Unfortunately, gems placed inside of the artifact will only give half of their regular stats, which is why I'm worm fishing again, because it would be much better for me to apply those gems onto my armor instead. Oh, come on, don't go into the wall, you dummy. And after a few hours of mostly uneventful worm fishing, I was done. Now, as I wait for the last of the gemstone chambers to finish forging, I applied some gems onto my armor and then upgraded the fuel tank on my drill. Why did I do this? Because while the Sunnyside Goblin Omelet that I had applied to my drill does give 50 mining fortune, it also causes my drill to consume 4 times as much fuel, which means that if I continue to use my dainty little fuel tank, I would run out of fuel very fast. But now that I fixed that issue, I can go back to mining. And so, a few gemstones later, I had full flawless gemstones on all of my gear. And after going back to mine up some more topaz, I still managed to run out of fuel, because a bigger fuel tank is only useful if you remember to fill it up. After that unfortunate incident, I compacted down all of my topaz and used it to upgrade my drill with Prismatic 5. I have no clue why it took this long, but here we are. But once again, that was the last fiesta, and because of that, I want to go back to Nucleus runs. The issue is, I'm running low on robot parts, and instead of spending forever trying to kill automatons for parts, I decided to powder grind. That's not what I'm looking for, and neither is that. A little while later, and I had crafted a few more precursor apparatuses, so now I'm ready to do Nucleus runs. Now the only thing that's stopping me is the fact that the map's not spawning in. I'll take the fact that I got literally nothing useful as a sign that I should stop gambling, at least on Nucleus runs, for now, which brings me to my other plan. Now most of you probably already know that higher quality gemstones grant more stats, but some new players probably would not know that this is also dependent on the item's rarity. Now in order to upgrade an item's rarity, one needs a recombobulator, which I don't have. Fortunately, they're a pretty common draw from dungeons, so I set up a party and did some runs. And that's the last one I need. After spending 3 days trying to get these recombibulators, I had hoped that this upgrade would improve my stats greatly. Instead, all it seems to be doing is granting about an extra 50 mining speed and 20 mining fortune per piece. Which is great. An upgrade is an upgrade, and I don't complain. But even after leveling up my mining and upgrading my drill with Lapidary 5, my gear is still too weak. And even though I can somehow obtain a 4th pure mithril gem, I cannot make money just yet. The last upgrade that I can make on my Armor of Divan is the addition of perfect gemstones. Now you may have already noticed that each tier of gemstone is crafted with 80 of the previous, but this rule is not true for perfect gemstones. Instead, they are forged with 5 flawless gemstones and a gemstone crystal. Of these crystals are the 5 that are used for Nucleus runs, which is great for me because I have all the means to obtain them. Now because I am very smart, I once again prioritized topaz, and because I'm very dumb, I screwed up and did not mine enough topaz, meaning that I had to wait for another fiesta. After a fiesta finally arrived, I finished up the rest of my topaz and moved on to jade. And of course, the best spots to mine jade are highly contested, so on top of mining, I now also have to kick other players away from my gems. Get out. But despite all of these distractions, I managed to finish up jade mining rather quickly, which means that after a bit of crafting, I now have full perfect jade gemstone in my armor. Never mind, I miscounted again. And so I burned through the rest of my fiestas mining jade, and somehow managed to turn a money making video into a money spending video by spending 1,000,000 coins just by changing out my gemstones. After getting jade gemstones, the most logical follow-up is amber. And while I could technically do all of this again for amber gemstones, there's a much better way to get mining speed. While I've been mining gemstones during mining fiestas, I've also been accumulating an item known as the glossy gemstone, which is, of course, an exceedingly useful and outstandingly rare drop from gemstones. With their rarity in mind, I promptly spent 16 of them to get an upgrade for 3 more mining fortune. But actually, the much more useful upgrade is the Divan's powder coating, an expensive item that will grant 500 mining speed to my drill. Alternatively, you may also apply this item onto the Armor of Divan, where it will grant 10 extra mining fortune per piece. But due to their rather hefty price tag, I can realistically only forge one of these, which I put onto my drill. But now I've basically run out of easy upgrades, and by this point I felt ready to start making some money. And so, after 25 minutes of upgrades, I was able to get 18.2 million coins per hour while mining jade, which is actually not that much. As it turns out, even after all of my efforts in getting here, my setup is simply not strong enough to get 20 million coins per hour by mining gemstones. But that doesn't mean I'll give up just yet, because after applying some more jade rolls onto my mineral armor, which apparently was made 2 years ago, I used another stack of glossy gemstones in order to upgrade the armor, to glossy mineral, which I hope will make me some money. Now, the glossy set can be rightfully described as the antithesis of the Armor of Divan, because while the Armor of Divan focuses on pristine to mine gemstones, the glossy set focuses on mining spread. Now, mining spread is a stat that allows multiple blocks to break at once, a bit like an ultra-efficient mining speed. Unlike the other stats, there is no gemstone for mining spread, but I don't see why you would need one, because with a full set of glossy mineral armor, and with a maxed out efficient miner perk, I believe the 900 mining spread that you get is good enough. The problem is, mining spread only works on blocks, which excludes gemstones. But fortunately, this does allow for an ancient money-making method, which is mining gold blocks inside the mines of Divan. But this plan has an issue. The average profits for gold mining are 26 million coins per hour, and I can't get anywhere close. And while I would usually blame the laggy servers, I think that it's finally time for me to step up and admit my own skill issue. On second thought, I think I will continue blaming the servers. Once I finally rejoined, I came to 2 realizations. Realization number 1 is that I have not yet applied recombibulators onto my glossy mineral armor, and since I don't have any after applying them all onto my Armor of Divan, I had to go into dungeons to get some more. And since I am completely overleveled, these runs went by very quickly. Wait, no, where did my truffle go? Where did it go? It was almost done aging too. What a shame. Putting my grief to the side, my second realization is that despite the vast amounts of gold blocks inside the mines of Devon being a perfect use for the mining spread of glossy mineral armor, it is actually not the most profitable block to mine. That title goes to diamond blocks, which can be found in the royal mines. The caveat here is that while diamonds sell for twice as much money as gold does, there's also much less of it. And while my 900 mining spread is insanely useful when I'm mining out endless mountains of gold, the overharvesting of blocks is now working against me. And since at the time I did not know how to fix that issue, I just gave up and went back to mining gold, where I immediately proceeded to forget to record my first ever level 60 skill, and forgot to record that one too. Come on, you idiot, get it together. The good part is, after making truly abysmal profits that session, I was informed that I should use a mixed armor setup to mine diamonds. And while a mixed armor set would be terrible for mining gold, by swapping out one of my pieces for Devon, I can both decrease my mining spread and increase my mining fortune, which brings my total up to 19 million coins per hour. And then I realized I forgot to apply those recombobulators. But then, I finally did something smart. Since this method of mining means that blocks are breaking very quickly, the best way to increase profits is to increase mining fortune. One small way to do this is by consuming an item known as the Filet of Fortune, which I have used almost non-stop when mining. However, a much more potent way to do this is by using a pickaxe ability known as Maniac Miner, which, in addition to giving extra breaking power as shown in the beginning of the video, also converts a large amount of mana to mining fortune. So after finding out that I am completely broke and cannot afford to apply max level enchants, I settled with applying Wisdom 3 onto my armor. This will grant me an extra 240 mana, which roughly translates to 120 more mining fortune. And since that is the last upgrade that I can reasonably make to my armor, you would expect that the only thing that I have left to do is to start making some money. But instead, I ended up leaving Skyblock for something a bit more physics-based. And once I'd returned, I had no recollection of what I was doing. So I ended up killing too many glacier walkers, level my grandma wolf to 100 using only the free training, tried to join a fiesta that does not exist, forget to turn off my mic while applying a perfect amber, went back to mining, find out that there are people who are trying to use wishing compasses to locate Zalks, forge a lot more perfects, apply said perfects, troll my audience with a Discord ping, reset my Heart of the Mountain tree twice, forged a mithril-plated drill engine, upgraded to titanium, and finally, at long last, I went back to Nucleus runs, because I'm still a few out from 100 and I need to catch my breath. Whew. And that's it. Oh well. Despite getting absolutely nothing for run 100, I'm at least satisfied with what I have. And what I have is a totally not overpowered glitch, which I can't replicate, so cheaters stop asking. And after side quest after side quest, I finally went back to diamond mining, reaching a final total of 21 million coins per hour. Not great for diamond mining, but good enough for me. And at long last, here we are in the new hub, 700 hours later, and I can finally be rewarded. And so, after selling many months worth of enchanted diamond blocks, I, for the very first time, hit the NPC sell limit of 500 million coins. And I didn't even finish selling. But you may have noticed throughout this video that I have been eating absurd amounts of booster cookies. So much so that my bits count is now nearing 100,000. So what could I possibly be planning that requires 500 million coins and 100,000 bits? An Iron Man player like me can't possibly use all that at once, right? Right?